Hey, I'm Teryn. In this video, I'm going to be talking about living in Dallas again. This is going to be a part 2, some things that I left out of my previous video and other things that you should know before moving. So if you haven't watched my first video, I will add a little card at the top of the screen. Although I haven't lived in Dallas in a while, I recently moved to a new city and I realized there were some helpful things that I could have mentioned in my previous video that I just didn't have enough time for. So that's the purpose of this video. So let's get into it. While I was apartment searching, I realized that one of the differences between this city and Dallas is that Dallas had a lot of washer and dryer hookups versus where I live now. The washer and dryer comes in with the apartment, and most, if not all of the apartments I toured had washer and dryers included. So in Dallas, a lot of the apartments that you'll find have washer and dryer hookups. So that's good to know if you already have it or if you'll need to buy it. But there are some apartments where they will be included or they have a laundry room. Grocery stores, how are you going to buy your food and cook your stuff? So the grocery stores that I frequented when I lived in Dallas were Aldi because it was right up the street. Along with Aldi, I also went to Trader Joe's, Kroger, Sprouts, and Walmart. Also went to Tom Thumb once, and I went to Central Market once, just because those two were kind of out of the way. Not really, but I was more familiar with like Kroger and Trader Joe's, so that's where I did a lot of my shopping. If you're native to Texas, I know people love and rave about H-E-B. There is no H-E-B in Dallas. There is Tom Thumb in Central Market. If you're coming from the southeast, there is no Publix, so just know that. For my internet, I use Spectrum, but AT&T is also headquartered in Dallas, right in downtown Dallas, so I'm sure there's some great options with them as well. For electricity, I went with Green Mountain. That was very new for me because I haven't lived anywhere where you could choose your electric company, so it was kind of overwhelming at first when you go to that website and you see all the list of options that you have. But I just went with the one that was recommended to me by my apartment complex, which was Green Mountain, and I really liked it. I could see my usage by the day and how much each day cost me, so I could kind of tweak things to kind of fit it within the budget that I wanted. So I really like Green Mountain. I didn't have any issues with them. They were super convenient, and when it was time for me to move, it was super easy to end it. For security, I went with Protect America, which is now Brinks. I don't think I would use Protect America again just because of that 3-year contract. I moved somewhere else, so I think I'm gonna go with Simply Safe because there isn't a contract, and I just feel like that contract is like really unnecessary. So toll tags, some people don't like them. I like them. I thought they were convenient because at some point I was driving to Frisco and Grapevine pretty frequently, and I thought it was better to get a toll tag, the little sticker that just goes to the front of your car. And also what's super helpful about the toll tag is when you want to park at the airport, it just charges the toll tag. So it's nothing else. You just drive through, it scans it, and you leave. I was able to actually prepay for my parking at DFW before. It was a super seamless process. You just prepay because they have deals, especially around the holidays, and especially if you're not from there and you want to go visit friends and families, you'll probably fly. So that was a super great and seamless process, which is having the toll tag versus getting a bill in the mail that you have to look out for. If you don't change to a Texas license plate, they will still bill the address that is connected to your current license plate, whether it's in a different city. So just be on the lookout for that. I would personally go ahead and change your tag. Getting a new license was pretty seamless. They have a bunch of different DMVs and you can schedule it in advance. And I think I mentioned in the last video, but my car taxes were cheaper, and just transferring your license and getting a new car registration and title was pretty easy. Do you need a car in Dallas? I think it depends. So they have the DART, which is the Dallas Area Rapid Transit. There's a train and a bus that takes you throughout the city and even through some of the surrounding areas. I will add a map of their lines to the side of me. Whether you need a car kind of depends on where you live and work. I would say there's a lot of different stops that go out pretty far, but you just have to check to see if it's something that is accessible to you. I would say, like, living in the South, the majority of the time, I would say you need a car. However, I think you can make do if you have a pretty decent public transportation system, which Dallas does. And there's also Lyft, Uber for places that might be out of the way or just too far of a trek, and it should be pretty affordable. And then they also have those scooters that you can take. Someone asked me on my last video about Dallas about where are the more affordable places to purchase a home. And so I've never purchased a home, but I do know that areas outside of Dallas proper definitely have more affordable housing, whether it's apartments and homes. When I kind of looked into like, oh, what if I were to purchase a home in Dallas, I more so looked into townhomes and condos. But I think typically when people think of Texas and buying a home, they think of those houses that go viral on social media every other day. So the bigger houses, and those typically, if you want it to be more affordable, are going to be outside of Dallas proper. So going towards Fort Worth, Grapevine, Carlton, Denton, Plano, Frisco. Plano and Frisco are kind of expensive. Mesquite, those areas like Garland. There's a lot of smaller cities surrounding Dallas and Fort Worth. So definitely look in those areas. And again, it depends on if you want to drive that far to work, what's accessible to you, is it a neighborhood that you enjoy. So definitely do some research, but there are a lot of affordable houses once you extend past Dallas. When it comes to buying a house or a condo, I do think there are some options for single people or young couples to live closer to the city. There's definitely a lot of townhomes that popped up, of course, and just like little condos, lofts that pop up in the area. So you might just have to do your research and get a good realtor, but there are definitely options. And I will say that a lot of people have mentioned with the influx of people moving from California and cities like Chicago, where they probably made more money, but the cost of living was higher, that they kind of drive up the prices more in Texas. So maybe be on the lookout for that. Okay, so for shopping, if you're big into shopping, there's Highland Park Village, the Galleria, Grapevine Mills, North Park Mall, the shops at Willow Bend. There's a lot of different places to shop, and there's even some shopping in downtown. I would say like downtown Dallas, at least when I lived there, was kind of, I wouldn't say dead, but not as eventful in a way, but I think they are adding more to it. More restaurants are open up. There's some shopping to do down there as well. Things to do, I kind of mentioned in my last video that there aren't as many things to do outdoors, but I went to so many concerts when I lived in Dallas. There's multiple sporting events. Just about all the professional sporting teams have a team in Dallas or surrounding Dallas. There's a lot of things to do in Dallas. It's a big city. It's just widespread. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment for more videos. Thank you again.